Hello, my favorite English language learners. It is your favorite English teacher here, Amy Joy. And over the last few months, the world has been watching the horrific and contentious war between Israel and Palestine, and more specifically, Hamas. And as I've been reading the news, I have noticed a lot of useful vocabulary for my students. So in this video, I am going to teach you 16 advanced words about the conflict between Israel and Palestine. Now, before we begin, I want to teach you a useful American idiom, which is don't shoot the messenger. This means don't kill or hate or fight against someone who is simply delivering a message or reporting news. Keep in mind that I am an English teacher and not an expert on conflicts in the Middle East. In this video, I am simply teaching you vocabulary to talk about this topic, and I am not offering my opinion. So please don't shoot the messenger here. So with that being said, let's get started. Our first word is nuance as a noun and nuanced as an adjective. And many people describe the conflict between Israel and Palestine as a very nuanced topic. The word nuance means a small detail specific to a situation that makes it more complex and therefore difficult to fix or even understand. And the adjective nuanced describes something that is complex due to small details specific to that situation. So in a sentence we can say, the conflict between Israel and Palestine is nuanced due to years of political and territorial disagreements. And word number 2 is dispute. This means a fight or disagreement. And this is a major dispute over territory. Territory is land that is under control of a particular country or political leader. And a common collocation I have seen in the news is territorial dispute. Again, this is a fight or disagreement over territory or land. And word number 4 is sovereignty. This means the power to govern a country. So in a sentence we can say, the dispute between Israel and Palestine is related to issues of sovereignty and control over territory, with both sides claiming rights to the same land. And word number 5 is to occupy as a verb and occupation as a noun. To occupy means to control an area, usually by military force. And the noun form occupation means the continued control or governance of a territory by a foreign power. So in this context, these words are used to describe Israel's control over areas of Palestine that Palestine claims as theirs. So you will often hear Israeli occupation or Israel is occupying parts of Palestine. So in a sentence you might see, the Israeli occupation of the West Bank and Gaza Strip has been a major point of contention in the war between Israel and Palestine. And this is also why you might see the hashtag Free Palestine, because some people claim that Israel is invading or occupying parts of Palestine that do not belong to Israel. So if someone is using the hashtag Free Palestine, they want Palestine to be free of Israeli occupation. And word number 6 is to retaliate, and the noun form retaliation. To retaliate is a great verb that means to fight back against someone who attacked you first. So in an example we can say, on October 7th, Hamas attacked Israel, and in response, Israel retaliated. They fought back. However, some people think that Israel's retaliation has been too harsh and too violent, but others believe that Israel has a right to defend itself. And word number 7 is to escalate, and the noun form escalation. To escalate means to increase in intensity, severity, or magnitude. And this word often refers to situations that are getting worse and more serious. To escalate has a very negative connotation to it. So in an example we can say, ever since the October 7th attack on Israel, violence between the two has been escalating. It has been getting worse and more serious. And before we move on to our next word, I want to remind you, if you are studying for the TOEFL, the IELTS, or just want to expand your vocabulary, then you might be interested in my ebook, 75 Advanced C1, C2 Level Words. In this book, I teach you 75 advanced words through readings, quizzes, and lots of practice activities, so you not only understand these words, but can also use them in your everyday life. So, after watching this video, go to my website, yourfavoriteenglishteacher.com, and buy my book today to improve your English vocabulary. Okay, and word number 8 is hostage. This is a person who is captured and then used to force the enemy or force others to meet certain demands or conditions. And a collocation with this word is to take or hold someone hostage. And during the October 7th attack, about 240 people were taken hostage. And sadly, many of these hostages were civilians. Civilian can be used as a noun or adjective, which refers to regular people. They are not in the military, they are not soldiers, they are just everyday people living their lives. And word number 10 is collateral damage. This is a great collocation that refers to damage, injuries, or deaths caused on accident by fighting or bombing. They are not the target of the fighting, but things still get damaged or people get killed. So a lot of the collateral damage we have been seeing in this conflict are civilians getting killed and civilian areas like hospitals and buildings being destroyed. And in an example, we can say, people watching the conflict between Israel and Palestine are concerned over the collateral damage and civilian deaths in Gaza. Many people watching around the world feel that there are too many civilians being killed and too many buildings being destroyed. And word number 11 is to displace, or the noun form displacement. And to displace means to force someone to leave their home because of war, persecution, or natural disaster. And in a sentence we can say, since October, 1.9 million Palestinians have been displaced due to the fighting between Israel and Hamas. 1.9 million people have been forced to leave their homes. Now, because of the high civilian death rate and the overall displacement of Palestinians, some people are calling this situation a genocide. And the official definition of a genocide is the intentional and systematic destruction of a national, racial, political, or ethnic group. Basically, destroying an entire group based on their identity. And some genocides that you might know about include the Holocaust, led by Adolf Hitler, the Armenian genocide, or Stalin's communist regime. Now, because of the displacement and killing of Palestinian civilians, some argue that Israel is committing genocide. But it's important to know that the use of the term genocide in this situation is highly controversial and debated. Basically, if you hear someone using the term genocide, you can assume that they support Palestine. By saying that Israel is committing genocide, you disagree with what they are doing and how they are fighting. So it can also be really interesting to see how the vocabulary and word choices we make really reflect our political opinions. And word number 13 is humanitarian aid. This collocation refers to food, water, and medical supplies that help people in war, crisis, or disaster. And word number 14 is war crime. This is when a country breaks a rule of war that is meant to protect civilians. And throughout this conflict, both Israel and Palestine have been accused of committing war crimes, including taking civilians hostage, preventing humanitarian aid from entering civilian areas, and using forbidden weapons. And since the violence has only been escalating over the last few months, many people are calling for a ceasefire. To cease means to stop, and so this word means to stop firing, or basically an agreement to stop fighting during a period of war. And word number 16 is peace talks. This is exactly what the word sounds like, which are simply negotiations or discussions between enemies in order to end a war. Now, I'm curious. Let me know in the comments. Has your country been involved in this dispute at all, either by supporting Israel or Palestine or providing humanitarian aid? Do you think Israel's retaliation has been appropriate? Or do you think we should call a ceasefire to allow for more peace talks? And please remember, don't shoot me, the messenger. I simply want to help you understand the language used in this current event a little bit more easily. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new. If you did, make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel so you can keep improving your English with me. I'll see you next time. Bye.